What's up guys, it's AlecMac111 and I have a review of a brand new gun. This is the Lancer Tactical Warlord series, and this is, I believe, the longer version, and then it has the key mod rail system. I don't know exactly how many variants they are, but Lancer Tactical has recently done, I'm only going to focus on the box a little bit, they've recently done a whole new rebranding, so they have different colors. They actually changed their patch and logo a little bit, and so they have done a huge rebranding. So all their stuff, I'm just saying, I'm a business major in college, and so from the marketing perspective, their stuff looks a lot nicer now, at least externally, and that has transferred over to the airsoft stuff because dang, this thing looks super good externally. So I'm going to talk about the features, then we'll go over the externals right here, and then we'll go over the internals as well. I have SureShot Midget that'll do those, and then I'll go to a shooting test, and then at the end I'll give my final opinion. And that's how I want to do reviews from now on, so if you guys like that format, comment that. If you want me to add something else, let me know as well. Up front here we have an orange tip, so just a standard orange tip, and then we have a super long barrel that the inner barrel goes all the way out to this outside. We have a plastic flip-up sight. This one actually did not come with a rear flip-up sight. I don't know if it's supposed to, but I got this sent from Airsoft Megastore and it did not have a rear flip-up sight. It also includes a super cool key mod rail system, so you can tell this is awesome. The key mod rail system is very narrow, but it's actually kind of tall. So it's narrow on the sides, and it's got a really good profile, but it's actually kind of tall, and I think it feels pretty good, but it just looks a little bit longer, and I think it actually goes better with the lower receiver, but I'll talk a little bit more about that later. They actually included a vertical foregrip here as well. This is actually a copy. It looks very similar to the BCM vertical foregrip. Now this one does have a kind of cool little compartment there if you want to store batteries or Skittles, but it has the angle like a BCM vertical foregrip does, and I love how I love that angle of the BCM vertical foregrip. That's why it's my favorite airsoft foregrip and real steel foregrip as well. It has a rail that you can either switch. There's one long rail, so a flashlight rail, you can switch it anywhere you want because this key mod has the bottom rail. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't put the bigger rail on the bottom and the smaller rail on the side for a flashlight, but I mean, this works really well for their vertical grip, so unless you want to change grips, that's fine. Comes to lower receiver. The entire upper is actually a metal, so in the past, I've kind of not been a super huge fan of Lancer Tactical, but it's really cool how they integrated the metal and the plastic of this. I just have, in the past, have not really liked anything that's polymer because you've had a lot of lower quality guns come out as polymer. However, this thing does an excellent job, and it looks really good externally, to be honest. Up top, this does not come with it. This is just a shot out. You take a look. It doesn't even have a lens in there. I just threw it on there because it kind of looks a little bit cooler. On the body, it has dynamic tactical trades here. And then it has fully ambi controls that are golf ball textured. Comes with a functional bolt lock. You can prove that on either side. And then it has ambi now releases on either side as well. And then it actually has a ambi selector switch, but SureShot Midget broke that when he was taking the gun apart, so I can't exactly feature that 100%. It has a more K-style, like the Magpul K-style grips. It's got a harder angle compared to the standard grips. It works well. It's textured on there as well, so it's kind of got like an S pattern texture, a little bit different. And then the lower is polymer. On this side, it has Lancer Tactical Trades, Cal 6mm. And then they actually partnered with Hex Mag, which is kind of cool. So they have a Hex Mag mid cap here. I honestly like it when guns come with a high cap because that's easier for younger players to get in and play well. But honestly, I've heard most people say that they would rather guns come with mid caps. I just think high caps are really good because you only need one gun to go play, and you can go in an open play and play. Whereas if you have mid caps, you need a little bit or a few more mid caps to play. It has a charging handle here. This is not an ambidextrous from the Switch, but you can see on the top that it's kind of cool. It has it's not a full travel either, so it's only like a half travel bolt, which is a little bit less realistic, but it works. Inside, you have a hop-up, and I believe these actually come stock with a 6.03 Type bore barrel, which is just a kind of cool little added thing. I really like the ambi controls. I mean, I'm right-handed, so I'm fine, but for those left-handed guys that are out there, I'm sure one of you is like, yes, ambi controls. I love that so much. Coming to the stock, we just have a normal stock. This is a little bit lower profile than I'd say most normal stocks are, and then it has a rubber grip pad here at the end with a kind of like X texture design. It's cool because every part of these actually have like texture on anything you would kind of go to take or pull on something. Like all of the controls here are golf ball textured, and then everything else is like a little bit rigid. But without further ado, we will get into the internals.
All right, so we got the gearbox open here. So the first thing that I noticed is that the corners are actually radiused on the gearbox shell. So that's definitely a plus. It's going to reduce shock on the front of your gearbox, where version 2s are notorious for cracking. The bearings there are 8mm steel bearings, so no complaints there. Very, very good quality. The spring guide here is actually ball bearing, believe it or not. It is QD, so you can easily swap springs. The spring itself, I'm assuming, is probably 110, 120. It's hard to say. I have not chronoed it yet, but that's normally stock. The piston here is actually a full metal rack. This is actually pretty surprising for a gun at this price point, really. You're going to get heat-treated teeth, too. Nothing cheap. They're not cutting corners, which is really, really good to hear. The tooth there is actually removed for better AOE, so you're not going to be chipping that last tooth there. It's gone. The piston head is ported. 6 ports there. Very good seal on that. The cylinder itself is steel, and it is a non-ported, and that's because it's got an 18, 20-inch barrel, so definitely a non-ported cylinder is going to help you there, get the air volume. The nozzle here is actually not the best. It is does not have an O-ring on it, which is unfortunate. So you're losing a little bit of seal there, so I'm guessing you're probably losing 10 FPS there. But that's just, non-O-ring nozzles are notorious for that, but that's okay. The tappet plate here is seems to be pretty durable. It's somewhat flexible, somewhat solid, and rigid, so no complaints there, really. The gears here are cheap Chinese. It's what you're going to see in a lot of stock guns. So your Ares Amoebas and Elite Force guns and Sima, they're going to come with these. I don't like them, but what do you expect? It is a stock gun. Pretty much all stock guns, besides maybe 5% of stock AEGs out there, come with better gears. But 95%, this is what you're going to get. So really no complaints. It's to be expected. It does have a sector chip on there, though, which is really nice. So that's a plus. So you're going to be able to use, heavier BBs, high caps, mid caps, anything you really want. And it's going to, hold the nozzle back a little bit longer so you can feed those heavy BBs. Or if you have kind of poopy magazines, that sector chip will hold the nozzle back a little bit longer so that it can get that BB up into your hop up to feed. The air latch here, it is heat-treated steel, so pretty good quality. No complaints on that thing. The spring for it seems to be pretty good quality too. No complaints there. The wiring here and the trigger contacts, they are nylon fiber, so no complaints. That's standard. The plating on it actually seems really, really good, so it's going to conduct electricity very, very well. I wouldn't see these trigger contacts burning out anytime soon. Honestly, run an 11.1 in this and just, find a tech to upgrade the gun once it breaks, but I'm guessing you could get at least a year of use out of this thing with the stock trigger contacts. Silicone coated wiring, no complaints there. Nice and thin, so you can route that through the gearbox shell and not get it cut or damaged. Last thing here, the motor. Unfortunately, I don't like the motor. It's your cheap, basic Chinese motor. But that's what you're going to expect with a stock gun. You can't expect anything crazy. As far as the pistol grip, I do want to mention this. It's actually like a QD pistol grip, so you have no complaints on not being able to swap this motor. What it is you lift this hinge, the hinge opens, and then you pull this cap off, and the motor's literally right there. So you can put an SHS, ZCI, ASG motor in here super, super easily. I really like that design there, and you still got that motor height, so you can adjust your motor height with no issues.
All right, it's time to shoot the Lancer Tactical Warlord series. I set this up. Hopefully this is a pretty good angle so you guys can see at least somewhat. I have 5 targets out there. So far I'm using an 11.1 LiPo and the trigger response is pretty snappy. Alright, let's go to full auto. This is using the stock mid cap. Seems pretty good for a stock gun, honestly. I'm pretty impressed. We'll shoot a little bit more. But I was a little bit worried for stock guns how the trigger response would be, because most of the trigger responses for stock guns aren't that snappy. However, if you use an 11.1 LiPo, you can get pretty much anything to be fairly snappy. And this thing works pretty well. I'm pretty impressed with it so far. Once again, it's at the price point of like $190 to $210, so it's pretty decent. So I shoot mostly in double taps and triple taps if you guys watch my videos, so that's a lot of what I'm kind of testing. Then we'll finish her off full auto. Honestly, very respectable semi and full auto for a stock gun. All right, now we're gonna go to the final thoughts. Now that you've seen this thing shoot, and I think it shoots pretty well, I'm gonna go ahead and give my final opinion on this gun. So something bad that came out, the gas tube came out. I don't know why. The gas block's still in there, but the gas tube came out. So I was playing with this gun a little bit, but when I got the gun, all the screws on the gun were a little bit loose. Tighten up all the things on the external of your gun. That's not their fault. That can be easily reinstalled, but it just goes to show, hey, just be careful and kind of put those back. I wish they had included a metal flash hider. I love it when companies do that, but this gun comes out at such a cheap price point. I understand why they didn't. I love that they added this on here, this grip. That's a little, you'd spend an extra $20 normally. So the fact that this gun comes in around $200 is an awesome price point, in my opinion. Previously, like I said, I have not been super impressed with polymer guns. However, this honestly has changed my mind. If I'm being 100% honest, I do really like the polymer. It's lightweight, which is awesome, so you can run around all day, and if you're younger, little, or a kid, even with this long barrel, you're gonna be fine. It's not gonna be that bad to be able to carry, and you're gonna have plenty of fun with it. I think it's cool that they partnered with the hex mag. I wish it would have been a high cap. But overall, I'm really impressed with this gun externally, and then internally for the price, it comes out really well. So would I give this a thumbs up, seal of approval? I would say absolutely. This is a good gun for the price point. Honestly, don't know a gun that looks externally better and functions as well as it does for the price. I would say definitely upgrade the gears and the motor as the first upgrade you do, but do it once it breaks. So for now, this thing works really well. I'm sure you can run this for a year or two, like any airsoft gun, any entry-level airsoft gun. They might eventually break, or it could be 3 years down the road, but all airsoft guns are gonna break. But when that time comes, just start upgrading the thing. If you love it externally, which I do love it externally, then you're gonna be fine. This is gonna be a great gun for you to purchase. This has been Alec Mac 1-on-1. I'll see you guys later.